Hello and welcome, third graders. You have found lesson 1.1. And today in math, we're going to talk about this objective here. I will be able to find differences of numbers using a number grid. And the word differences, right, is a key word today because when we think of the word differences, usually we don't think of it in a math way. We think of like, okay, what are the differences between me and my friend? He's older than me, but I have more hair, and those are our differences. And that's one meaning of the word differences, but today we're going to really talk about differences in terms of subtraction, right? The difference between two numbers can always be found by subtracting those two numbers, by finding out how far apart they are. And that goes with this standard here of our from our third grade standards. So as we look through, um, let's take a look at this grid here, right? So which number is 20 more than 45? So if you remember your number grids, these are set up so that 1 is here and 100 is here, and it goes up by 1. But if we look at the difference, how far each number is going up as we go down, right? 5 to 15, that's 10 more. We're adding 10 each time we move down. So if we want to find out the answer to this, we're going to start at 45. And where's 45? It's right here. And if we go down 1, 2, we can find our answer. Our answer for this question would be 65, right? The difference between those two numbers is 20. That's how far apart they are. So what number is 40 more than 38? Take a moment. Here's 38. And if you go 40 more, right, you're going to go down 4 boxes from this box. What do you think that'll be? Let's check it, right? 10, 20, 30, 40. And there it is. Our answer should be 78. The difference between 38 and 78 is 40. That's how far apart they are. Let's look at this grid, right? Just to kind of review that this grid has a lot of patterns, right? So think about that for a moment. What kind of patterns do you see in this grid? Let's see. So there's lots of them, right? What happens to numbers in a row as you move from left to right, right? They get larger. That's one pattern. If you go from right to left, they get smaller. You know, what do you notice about the ones and tens digits in the numbers as you go from left to right? Well, look, the tens digit, look at these 90s. The tens digit is staying the same until we get to the last one. And it's the ones digit that's going up, right? So just different patterns that you might have mentioned. If you add 1 to a number, where on the grid is the sum? Remember that word? Sum means adding. So if I take any number, let's take 84, and I add 1 to it, the answer is always right here on the right, 85. What do you notice about the digits as you go from top to bottom? We mentioned that, right? Each time you go down one row, you're adding 10. And the reverse is true also. If I start going up the rows, then I'm going to be subtracting 10 or being 10 less. Okay? Which is what we just kind of talked about that. If we continued on the number grid, what's the next number? So think about what would go right here if that were a box. Take a moment, think about that. See what you should have had. Well, if this is 120, when we go down to the next row on that side, right here, we would have 121. So these are our number grids that you've seen, right? Use the patterns on the number grid to predict what would happen if you add 100 to a number. What if you subtract 100 to a number? So let's pick a number here like 58. Well, what if we added 100 to that number, right? So we'd have 58. And then if we add a number here in the 100 spot, now we have 158. But what if we subtract a number, or excuse me, subtract 100? Here's 119. What if we subtract 100? So we get rid of that 100. All we'd be left with is this 19, right? So lots of patterns. Number grids can be very, very useful. All right, I want you to open up to your math journal. This is page 3. And the title says Finding Differences on a Number Grid. Here's the number grid that we were just looking at. I'm going to help with a couple of these, and then you're going to finish this page, and then you'll be turning in this page. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that we can all see just a little bit better. All right. So, number 1 says, which is less, 83 or 73? Right? So I know that the numbers get smaller as they go to the top and they get larger as they go down. So here's 83 and 73. So which of those is smaller? Well, 73 is smaller because it's further towards the top and towards the left. Okay? So 73 is the smallest. So I'm going to write that right here. How much less is it? So what's the difference between these two numbers? Well, we talked about earlier that if we move up a row, we're adding 10. So same thing if we move down a row, we're subtracting 10. So these two numbers are 10 away. Okay, so you're going to answer these 3 questions. Which is less? Then notice here, which is more, 90 or 55, right? Which is more, so not less, and which is more here. Then for the bottom ones, we're going to find the difference between each pair of numbers. So how far apart are they? So let's do this one, number five, 71 and 92. So let's find 71. See if I can erase what we have here so far. Get rid of these marks. Disappear and disappear. All right, so the two numbers that we're looking for down here were 71 and 92. I'm going to circle those numbers, and that's a good strategy, and maybe use your eraser as you move between questions. So 71, how far is it from 71 to 92? Well, if I go from here to here, right, that's 10. So I'm up to 81. And then I go from here to here, that's 10 more. Now I've gone up 20. And if I add one more to that, now I'm at 20, or well, now I'm at 92. So I've gone up 10 and 10, and then one more, right? 10, 20, 21. So these numbers are 21 away. The difference between them is 21. All right. So your job here is to finish the rest of these problems on the math journal page. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if you need any help. And good luck.